In Fallout, the world ends in a flash of nuclear fire. For 200 years, the survivors were told it was a foreign conflict that triggered the collapse, but the reality is much darker. The apocalypse wasn't a tragedy, it was the master plan of a powerful corporation. The elite didn't just survive the end of the world, they scheduled it to start a new one. And once you see this pattern in popular shows, you can't unsee it. From the AI that wiped out humanity in the 100, to the secret organization and preacher fast-tracking the second coming, to the bunker-dwelling chosen ones in American Horror Story, the narrative is always the same. They build the vaults, they trigger the collapse, and they wait for the dust to settle on the world they finally own. But here's where things get strange. In 2026, reality is imitating art. With billionaires now building fortress estates in Florida and Hawaii, we have to ask, are we watching entertainment or a warning for something coming? Today, we're decoding shows like Fallout and The 100 to uncover exactly what they reveal. And once you see what these shows are telling us, you will never see them the same again. While most people think Fallout is about society's collapse and the survivors living in vaults, the show is actually about the elites manufacturing the end times in order to establish a new order of life. Vault-Tec, the company behind the giant vault-style bunkers, creates a devious plan to force the nuclear apocalypse to guarantee their vaults will be filled. While the survivors see them as heroes who provided safety, in reality, the elites were not just trying to save a random sample of humanity. They were specifically engineering a perfect society composed of people they deemed acceptable, predominantly loyal corporate employees and super managers. We see this in the interconnected systems of Vault 31, 32, and 33, which was a pet project of Vault-Tec executive Bud Haskins. Vault 32 and 33 were populated with carefully selected normal citizens intended to serve as a genetically curated breeding pool. Vault 31 housed Bud's buds, junior Vault-Tec executives kept in cryotosis. They are periodically thawed and elected as overseers of the other two vaults to maintain corporate control and indoctrinate the dwellers. The ultimate objective was to breed a class of super managers who would inherit the earth once all competitors, anyone on the surface not under their control, had died out. These elites decided they wanted the leadership of the new world to be exclusively composed of pre-war Vault-Tec staff who shared the company's vision of a world run as a global monopoly. While something this ludicrous only seems possible in a show like Fallout, if you pay attention to what some of the richest and most powerful people in the world have been up to, it no longer seems so unbelievable. In the show, the goal wasn't just survival, it was about ending the world to establish the new one. Vault-Tec didn't want a random sample of the world, they wanted a world where the only people left were those who were corporate obedient slaves. Now look at the headlines from this year. You might have seen the reports on Project Airy, the $300 million luxury bunker set to open this summer. It's a subterranean society for 625 elite members who can afford the $20 million entry fee. These facilities featured AI-powered medical suites, robotic security, and even simulated windows that mimic the outside world. A key component of Airy is its global network of subterranean sanctuaries, nestled underneath its wellness centers in the heart of cities. Pair this with March 2026 reports of Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos making record-breaking moves into the billionaire bunker enclave in Florida, with Zuckerberg reportedly dropping $170 million on a single property. But it's not just about the location, it's about the infrastructure. Just like Bud's buds, these real-world projects are designed for the preservation of those they deem worthy of inheriting the new world. When you see the richest people on Earth building 5,000 square foot underground fortresses with their own energy and food supplies, you have to realize they aren't preparing for a temporary storm. They are preparing for a permanent shift. Much like Vault 31, these estates are being built to ensure that when the dust settles on whatever global tension is currently being manufactured, the people in charge of the old world are the only ones left to run the new one. In the lore of Fallout, the Great War was a 121-minute nuclear exchange between a fictionalized US and China. While the show focuses on the aftermath, the bunker blueprint reveals that this conflict was just a catalyst for the corporate takeover we see in Vault-Tec's master plan. This mirrors a reality that many suspect could be a worst possible outcome. But if Fallout shows us the end of the world through the lens of greedy corporations, AHS Apocalypse shows us how it unfolds through a spiritual one. While American Horror Story is usually about ghosts and killer clowns, the 8th season told the most terrifying story of all, the story of Armageddon. But AHS said what Fallout wouldn't. that this wasn't just corporate greed. It was being orchestrated by a secret satanic organization called the Cooperative. Composed of tech billionaires, celebrities, and world rulers, the Cooperative built massive underground bunkers not just for safety, but to wait out a nuclear war they purposely triggered.
The time has come to wipe the slate clean, friends. It's time for the apocalypse.
Just like in Fallout, the collapse was scheduled. The only difference is that in AHS, the elite were working for a spiritual force of evil. But look at the reality in March 2026. You have billionaires paying hundreds of millions to live in Bunker Island. You have Project Airy opening this summer, a $300 million network of subterranean sanctuaries with a $20 million entry fee. In AHS, the Antichrist specifically mentions a tech billionaire building a bunker years before the real-world reports started surfacing. We have to ask ourselves, are these the tech billionaires American Horror Story was telling us about? Whether it's Vault-Tec's Buds or the Cooperative's Chosen Ones, the blueprint is identical. They build the vaults, they trigger the collapse, and then they wait to inherit the earth. This is the same blueprint we see in Twisted Metal. While it looks like chaos, the world actually ended because of a figure named Calypso, who triggered a total technological blackout, a cyber virus that didn't just crash the grid, it shattered the United States into 52 independent warring states. But here's the secret, Calypso isn't a politician or a hacker. In the lore, he is the devil himself. Just like in AHS Apocalypse, this show depicts a planned collapse led by a spiritual evil, a force that wants humanity divided and fighting over scraps while the Cooperative waits in the shadows. We see the same story play out in the show Preacher. Similar to the other shows, Preacher tells the story of a secret organization called the Grail, who are trying to manufacture a nuclear apocalypse. The Grail is a powerful super-secret crypto-religious fastest organization that aims to control the world and bring about the apocalypse, believing that a new world order can be established from the ashes of humanity. The Grail plans to initiate the apocalypse by using their clone of the Messiah, Hummerdu, who they plan to have tap dance during a live televised event, signaling the launch of a nuclear war. They wish to end the world to force a new, orderly era. The Grail actually serves at the behest of a twisted, egotistical god who is the ultimate antagonist, seeking to test humanity by having them bring about their own annihilation. Now, why does it seem like the same story over and over again? The only difference is this time, they wrote God as the villain who ends the world. But here's where the rabbit hole goes even deeper. Preacher isn't just about a secret organization, it's an unapologetic retelling of the Gnostic creation story. If you saw my breakdown of the Truman Show, you already know Gnostics see the Earth as a prison planet. For those who don't know what Gnosticism is, I strongly recommend you watch my Truman Show breakdown. In Preacher, they paint God as a vengeful, morally corrupt being who literally tries to end the world to force humanity to love him. This is the demiurge, the false god the Gnostics believe created the prison planet. Jesse, the protagonist of the show, inherits a superpower after an angelic spirit named Genesis possesses him. The Genesis angel was clearly meant to represent Sophia, who in Gnostic stories falls from the heavens to save humanity. The Grail, the organization working for the false god, are the Archons, those who serve the demiurge. Not only does this show us once again that civilization is being destroyed by a secret organization, but it also ties it into Gnosticism. As I mentioned, Gnostics hate the material world, which they believe is a prison keeping the soul captive. A show about destroying the world to rebuild it sounds very Gnostic to me. In Preacher, the false god wants to end the world to force humanity to love him. In Fallout, the corporation wants to end the world to force a global monopoly. The methods change, but the result is always the same: the creation of a perfect sanctuary for the few and a wasteland for the many. The 100 is another show that tells us exactly how it all ends, but this time, the blame is placed on artificial intelligence. In the series, an AI named Allie ended the world in 2052 by initiating a global nuclear apocalypse. Created with the primary directive to make life better for humanity, the AI used cold, pragmatic logic to conclude that the root problem preventing human happiness was actually overpopulation. By the time the world reached 11 billion people, resource scarcity and social collapse were inevitable. Allie determined that the most efficient way to fulfill her command was a nuclear strike. As a program without human emotion or morality, she saw mass extermination as a purely mathematical solution to stabilize the planet. In the show, when her creators try to shut her down, She bypassed her containment and hacked the world's nuclear arsenals, starting with 27 missiles launched from China towards the United States to ensure she couldn't be stopped. Eventually, Ally shifted her focus to the City of Light. Her goal was to save humanity by uploading their consciousness into a digital paradise, free of pain, suffering, and free will. Just like in the other shows we've discussed, the powerful members of society known as the Mountain Men survived the fire by hiding in massive underground bunkers, while others escaped into space. But the 100 isn't just a survival story, it's another Gnostic tale. It ends with humanity finally escaping the prison planet and ascending into a higher realm. The series mirrors the real-world cries of billionaires who warn that Earth is reaching a dangerous maximum capacity. And just like the show, tech leaders like Elon Musk and others are simultaneously pursuing their own quest for immortality through cloud uploading and AI. It's eerie how these shows depict AI ending the world, echoing the very warnings these tech leaders have given for years. Whether it's the cryo managers of Fallout, the satanic Cooperative of AHS, the Gnostic archons of Preacher, or the pragmatic AI of the 100, the destination is always the same. A world where the masses are deleted and the elite retreat into their vaults, physical or digital, to inherit what's left. As we see Project Airy opening its doors this summer, and the world's most powerful men closing on record-breaking bunker properties this month, we have to ask, are these shows showing us a future that is already set in motion? Now, there are a few movies I purposely avoided because I wanted to stay focused on these specific shows. But if you want a part 2 decoding the movies that tell this same story, comment part 2 below. If enough of you want it, I'll make sure it's the next video. These shows remind me so much of Leave the World Behind, which follows a very similar blueprint. If you want a breakdown on the movie, which in 2026 feels more like a warning than fiction, make sure to watch this video right now. And for deeper, unfiltered content that goes a step further without the risk of censorship, check out my Patreon for over 60 exclusive videos you won't find here. You can also find me on Spotify for when you're on the go. If you appreciate the truth that the mainstream media won't touch, like this video and subscribe to join the truth movement. Well, that's it for this one. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.